I honestly, I wouldn't mind at this point if Caitlyn just started her villain arc. She needs to start putting her foot down because this, like, some of this stuff is getting a little wild. She comes into the WNBA, her biggest life dream to play professional basketball. She comes into the WNBA. She gets a special whistle the opposite way because she's getting fouled and flagrant fouled, and just the defense that they're playing on her is actually insane. Yet despite all that, has an incredible rookie season. And then on top of that, people are using her name for their hidden agendas on both sides. People are just using Caitlyn's name. And then if she says something, it's not enough. If she doesn't say anything, she never wants to speak out about anything. She cannot win.
The WNBA is in the middle of a civil war, and its biggest star has just picked a side. Caitlyn Clark has had enough of being the league's golden goose. Her name used to sell tickets, while her voice was expected to remain silent. But that silence has just been broken, and her latest move threatens to burn the entire establishment to the ground. She's drawn a line in the sand against Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, and what happens next could either save the league or tear it apart from the inside. Clear things up before Game 1 of the finals. She held a long press conference, and let's just say it didn't help.
You've continued to express that you're disheartened by the characterization of your conversation with Nafisa Collier. Just again, seeking clarity. Did you in fact say that Caitlyn Clark should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court? Because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything? And do you actually feel that way, that without this platform, players like Caitlyn Clark wouldn't be making what they do off the court?
Yeah, obviously I did not make those comments. Caitlyn has been a transformational player in this league. She's been a great representative of the game. She's brought in tens of millions of new fans to the game. Proud of what she's put on the court. Unfortunately, the injuries held her back from a full season this year. But again, I'm not going to get into every counterpoint. It's not productive here. We're here to celebrate the WNBA finals. I think what Indiana just did was amazing with all the injuries they had, and the, everything they faced this year, bringing that to a Game 5 in overtime. But yeah, as I said, there's a lot of inaccuracies reported out there. And I certainly did not say that.
It all started with a bombshell from Nafisa Collier. During a now infamous exit interview, the WNBA vice president dropped a revelation that ignited the entire league. She claimed that Commissioner Cathy Engelbert told her in a private conversation that Caitlyn Clark should be grateful for the WNBA because it's the reason she has all those lucrative endorsement deals. That single accusation, suggesting the league's savior owed her success to the very institution she was elevating, sent the internet into a complete frenzy and put the league's leadership directly in the crosshairs. It was the spark that lit the fuse on a powder keg of player frustration.
And at the end of the day, she's worried about her. In all of her statements, it's all like, well, I got us here and I should. And Cathy, no one cares. Literally, no one cares. Like how you're sitting right there, that's how we feel every time she speaks. Every time she speaks, us as players, that's how we feel.
Well, I mean, first of all, I have great respect for Fee, and I think she made a lot of very valid points. And I think what people need to understand, we need great leadership in this time across all levels. This is straight up the most important moment in this league's history. Well, this league's been around for 25 plus years, and this is a moment we have to capitalize on. So that's honestly what I would say. I think there's, Fee said it all with what she said, and, I think the points she made were very valid.
Faced with a rapidly growing firestorm, Engelbert held a press conference right before the WNBA finals, a moment when all eyes were on the league. She had a chance to calm the waters, to show unity, to lead. Instead, she threw a gallon of gasoline on the flames. She flatly denied ever making the comment about Clark, and went a step further, suggesting Collier's memory of their private talk was filled with inaccuracies. In front of the national media, the league's commissioner didn't just disagree with a player. She essentially called one of the players' union leaders a liar. This wasn't just a denial, it was a declaration of war. For weeks, Caitlyn Clark had expertly navigated the drama, maintaining her usual calculated silence. She was the eye of the hurricane, calm and focused, while chaos swirled around her. But after Engelbert's press conference, she was finally cornered by reporters. They asked her what she thought of Collier's comments, and Clark delivered a single devastatingly simple line that made the entire league freeze. I think Fee made a lot of valid points. In that one moment with less than 10 words, the WNBA's most powerful asset officially chose a side, and it wasn't with the commissioner. This was no slip of the tongue. It was a calculated move. To understand why Clark's famous patience finally snapped, you have to rewind to her brutal rookie season. She was shoved, elbowed, and targeted with flagrant non-basketball plays, while the league did almost nothing to protect its main attraction. She was treated less like a generational superstar, and more like a human piñata, and the referees consistently swallowed their whistles. The league that was cashing in on her name, selling her jerseys and boasting about her ratings couldn't even ensure her basic safety on the court. So when that same leadership got caught up in a scandal about respecting players, Clark's support for Collier felt like long overdue payback. The drama kept escalating at a dizzying pace. After being publicly discredited by the commissioner, Collier did the unthinkable. She canceled a scheduled meeting with Engelbert that was meant to clear the air. But here's the most shocking part of this power play. Reports surfaced that Engelbert found out about the cancellation from an ESPN media alert, not from Collier or the Players Association. The communication breakdown was so complete, so toxic, that the league's commissioner was learning about her own failed meetings from Twitter. The divide between the players and the front office had become a massive, uncrossable canyon. That's when Caitlin Clark's silent rebellion began in earnest. She didn't post a long, angry statement or go on a podcast to vent. Her actions did all the talking, and they were deafening. She strategically stopped reposting official WNBA content. She completely ignored the finals on her social media, a glaring omission for the league's biggest star. Most tellingly, she started liking tweets from fans who were viciously criticizing the league's leadership. People immediately noticed this wasn't just a disagreement anymore. It was the league's biggest star using her platform to send a clear message: you cannot use my name for profit while disrespecting the players around me. This explosive feud is happening against the backdrop of the most critical CBA negotiation in the league's history. And this is where a massive conflict of interest emerges, casting a dark shadow over everything. Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart, two key figures in the players' union, are also the co-founders of Unrivaled, an alternative off-season league. If the WNBA negotiations collapse and the league enters a lockout in 2026, Unrivaled would win big, as players would flock there for income. This has made owners deeply suspicious and paranoid, creating a toxic atmosphere of distrust at the negotiating table that could doom the talks before they even begin. The ultimate irony in all of this is almost too perfect. The WNBA's entire modern economy, its very relevance in the mainstream sports conversation, revolves around Caitlin Clark. Her games shatter viewership records, her jersey sales are historic, and her presence has brought unprecedented media attention. Yet the commissioner is at the center of a scandal for allegedly telling a player that Clark should be grateful to them. The league desperately needs Clark far more than she needs the league, and this entire mess has exposed that uncomfortable power dynamic for everyone to see. But don't mistake Clark's firm stance for diva behavior. This isn't about her wanting special treatment or demanding a throne. It's about her demanding basic fairness and respect for all players. She's tired of her name being dragged through the mud and used as a political pawn in boardroom battles. The smiling rookie who once tried to stay above the fray is gone. In her place is a seasoned pro who is keenly aware of her incredible influence and is no longer afraid to use it. That quiet, Midwestern patience has officially run out. This conflict represents more than just a disagreement. It's a generational battle for the soul of the WNBA. On one side, you have the old guard, the established league office, and owners who are used to controlling the narrative. On the other, you have the new wave, a generation of stars led by Clark who built their own brands through NIL and social media. They have independent power, massive followings, and they don't feel indebted to the league for their fame. They aren't asking for permission to speak anymore. And you can bet the sponsors are watching this unfold, with knots in their stomachs. What do you think is happening in the boardrooms at Nike, Gatorade, and State Farm? These companies have invested tens of millions of dollars in both Caitlin Clark and the WNBA. They signed on to be part of a story of explosive growth and empowerment, not a public civil war. This internal chaos threatens to tarnish the very brand they're paying to be associated with. And they will not sit by silently if their investment is put at risk by incompetent leadership. Their behind-the-scenes pressure could become a major factor. The media's role in this is just as complicated. Major broadcast partners, like ESPN, are in a tough spot. They have billion-dollar deals to broadcast WNBA games, so their incentive is to promote a healthy, exciting league. But how do you do that when the league itself is publicly imploding? You can see the anchors and analysts dancing around the issue, trying to cover the drama without fully acknowledging the rot at the core. They are walking a tightrope between journalism and protecting their business interests. And looming over all of this is the shadow of Adam Silver. The WNBA, for all its growth, is still the NBA's sister league. This level of public dysfunction and infighting reflects poorly on the entire brand umbrella that Silver oversees. The pressure is mounting for him to step in, to be the adult in the room and clean house. He can't let the WNBA's golden era be squandered by a leadership crisis. The whispers are growing louder. If Engelbert can't fix this, Silver will have to find someone who can. This puts Kathy Engelbert in a desperate, almost impossible position. Her credibility with the players appears to be gone forever. What can she even do now? Any public apology would likely be seen as a forced, insincere attempt to save her job. Any disciplinary action would be seen as retaliatory. Her options have dwindled to almost none, and she is quickly running out of time. She's the captain of a ship taking on water, and the crew is no longer listening to her orders. This crisis isn't just happening at the top. It's fracturing the very foundation of the league. The players, while stars like Collier and Stewart have been vocal, many other players are staying silent. Younger players on non-guaranteed contracts can't afford to risk their careers by speaking out. This is creating quiet tension in locker rooms across the league. The conflict is forcing players to choose sides, creating a divide that could linger for years, long after this specific feud is over. The WNBA has officially crossed the point of no return. The trust between players and the commissioner's office is broken, perhaps irreparably. The battle lines have been drawn in public for everyone to see. The league's carefully crafted marketing pitch of being one big family has been exposed as a complete fantasy. The curtain has been pulled back, and what fans see is a dysfunctional organization at war with itself. We are watching a revolution brew in real time. The fan base is enraged, demanding accountability. Sponsors are getting nervous, and a catastrophic 2026 lockout feels more possible than ever. Caitlin Clark may not have intended to start a war, but with one simple sentence, she lit a match and exposed the deep cracks in the WNBA's foundation. The league is at a crossroads, and the outcome will determine whether this golden era becomes a dynasty or a cautionary tale of a league that fumbled the greatest gift it was ever given.